Well, I mentioned to you yesterday, as you are training leaders, you don't have any because you have to go out and evangelize and get them in church and then disciple them. And I told you to pray for them to come. And so I wanted to share with you what I read. You can find all of this on alignmentministries.com/Austin's pen. It's where I try to put the gleanings, which are tremendous. But Andrew Murray, in his book, Teach Me to Pray, said this. He said, how little Christians feel and intercede for the need of laborers in the fields of the world that are so white for harvest. How little they believe that our labor supply depends on prayer, and that prayer will supply as much as is needed. It's not the dearth of labor is not known or discussed, or that efforts are not sometimes put forth to supply the need, but how little the burden of the sheep wandering without a shepherd is really carried in faith, that is, the Lord of the harvest should send forth laborers in answer to prayer. There is no solemn conviction that without this prayer fields ready for weeping will be left to perish. But these are vital truths. So complete is the surrender of this work into the hands of the church. So dependent has the Lord himself made them on his body, through whom alone his work can be done. So real is the power that the Lord gives his people to exercise in heaven and on earth, that the number of laborers and the measure of the harvest actually depends upon their prayers. What a solemn thought. Then why do we not obey the injunction of the Master more wholeheartedly and cry more earnestly for laborers? There are two reasons. First, we lack the compassion of Jesus that gave rise to this request for prayer. When believers learn that the Father's first commandment to his redeemed is to love their neighbor as themselves and to live entirely for God's glory, they will accept the care and concern for the perishing as the charge entrusted them by their Lord. By accepting the lost not only as a field of labor, but as individuals in need of loving care and compassion, the cry will ascend with earnestness previously unknown. Lord, send forth laborers. What a tremendous quote. You're trying to get things done on the mission field. It's easy to work in the flesh. It's easy to let it be the magnetism of your personality. But the real charge is for us to allow God to do a work through us. And we do that by prayer. And we often get so busy we let our prayer lives lapse. I'd like to suggest that you consider reading a book on prayer as a regular part of your readings. And every day I hope you do some readings. On the Society of Mentors, I'm going to show you this next time we meet how to use logos as a way to set up your reading plans in several books that I use every day. I just want you to know we need to pray. God wants to do a work. He's waiting to do a work, but we have yet to believe him enough to pray.